This was my most anticipated movie of the entire summer, and I was really worried that I'd be let down by my high expectations. Thankfully, I had nothing to worry about. Mission Impossible Fallout is the sixth film in the Tom Cruise-led franchise that only seems to ripen with age, and the plot of this film is basically what you'd expect. Ethan Hunt is tasked with a mission that requires him to break rules and burn bridges along the way. There are several returning cast members in this film, including Rebecca Ferguson, Simon Pegg, Ving Rhames, Alec Baldwin, and a couple of newcomers such as Angela Bassett and most notably mustached Clark Kent. Now, I'd say that my first impression of the previous Mission Impossible film, Rogue Nation, was that it was solid, but really felt like kind of a rehash of Ghost Protocol, which isn't a bad thing. That isn't the case with Fallout. Fallout feels like the deep breath of fresh air that Ghost Protocol was back in 2011. You see, the urgency of this film is so well realized. The scope is huge, sprawling, and the thing is, the movie only takes place over the course of 3 days or so. The pacing and flow felt incredibly natural and tightly kept. For a movie that runs in just under 2.5 hours long, the dull moments are truly few and far between. There are two scenes, however, that I felt slowed down the experience a little bit. One of them was necessary to move the plot along, but could have been integrated a bit better in my opinion. The other scene is about halfway through the movie, and it involves two characters having a conversation in what I remember as being some sort of public park or courtyard. If you've seen the movie, you'll probably know what I'm referring to, but to me that scene was just a little too cheesy and melodramatic. Character motivations are also quite strong in this movie. This really is an all-encompassing Mission Impossible film that brings all of Ethan Hunt's closest assets along for the ride. It really is all about what Ethan is willing to do to protect those that he loves, and that is what really makes this film better than it has any right to be. Now, I did see this movie in IMAX. That does not happen often, but that was clearly the right choice in this case. You should definitely try to do that if you can. The stunts and set pieces are awe-inspiring, as they always are. Tom Cruise pulls off some truly insane feats, but they really wouldn't be worth it without a steady eye behind the camera. Christopher McQuarrie films the action so wide that every piece of hard work is shown. The motorcycle chase in this film is just jaw-dropping. The amount of coordination that went into that and how well they executed that is just unbelievable. The cinematography and shot composition in this film in general is just honestly astonishing. I think that it's going to be really difficult to rewatch the previous films and be as impressed with those set pieces as I was when I originally saw them. Fallout ups the ante so much with the extremity of these stunts that it honestly is going to be impossible to beat. So I clearly loved this film. To me, it's honestly the perfect kind of summer blockbuster. It's thrilling, it's beautifully shot, and it boasts a large roster of talented people both in front of and behind the camera. I also appreciate its willingness to push its PG-13 rating to the limit. There's a shocking amount of blood and brutality in this film that to me make this film feel more hard-hitting and authentic at the same time. My only real criticisms of the film are just those two scenes that I mentioned earlier, and I would have really loved to see Jeremy Renner return, but as far as I know, he's too busy like tying people's shoes together and I don't know, like feeding his kids while the rest of the world disappears. I don't really know what he's doing, but he should have been there. So that's my review of Mission Impossible Fallout. I hope all of you who got to see it this weekend or this week or whatever enjoyed it as much as I did. If you like this video or like my reviews or anything, you can hit that subscribe button down below or hit that like button. I think it might be over here. So that's all. Have a good night, everybody.